Hey everyone, welcome into Attacking Third alongside Sandra Herrera. I'm Lisa Carlin. This is a very special A3 one-shot episode solely focusing on U.S. women's national team legend Alex Morgan as she announces her retirement and says goodbye to the game in one final match that you can watch Sunday against North Carolina Courage. It is at Snapdragon Stadium. Go buy those tickets. And if you can't make it to the game, you can watch it on Paramount Plus. Sandra, how's it going today? I mean, it's a busy day for us, but how are you?
It started off a little bit better than yesterday. I think we were all running around like, "Oh my god, ring the alarm," right? Alex Morgan
Crying,
announcing her
grabbing
retirement.
tissues, crying.
Yeah, all of it, trying to like manage the roller coaster of emotions, and turns out a little bit of a different start to today, but still just as many emotions. Happy to be here talking about it all with you.
Always. This is our A3 one shot. It's where we get to tackle one topic in a moment that arises, whether it's breaking news or just something we didn't get to cover on any of the other shows. And we are doing this A3 one shot today on Alex Morgan and her final professional soccer match because she held a media availability that just ended moments ago. And that's why we're doing this. So thank you. If you're joining us live on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to our page. You'll get alerts when we do these and whenever we go live. And of course, you can always listen to us as a podcast anywhere you get your podcasts. Sandra, yesterday, Alex Morgan announced her retirement from professional soccer and also really exciting that she is pregnant and expecting her second child. So this weekend, when San Diego Wave hosts North Carolina Courage Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, will be her final match. Absolutely bittersweet. Once this announcement was dropped yesterday, in only a few hours' time, the entire lower bowl at Snapdragon Stadium was sold out. Fans were snatching up tickets. San Diego had to open the upper bowl of the stadium, and those tickets are continuing to be sold. If you can't go to that game in San Diego, you can watch it on Paramount Plus. But then this morning, Morgan did a press conference, her final press conference that was pretty emotional, and it was long, much longer than match day -2 pressers usually are with players and with coaches available. I know you're in these a lot, Sandra, but one of the biggest things that Morgan talked about in this presser is, of course, the impact of soccer and things like that. But in regards to the game on Sunday, that she will be playing limited minutes on Sunday against North Carolina, right? She's getting her ankle taped and she is pregnant. And so there are a lot of different factors that go into this, but you've been a part of a lot of different media availability, Sandra. This one, it felt different. It felt different, not necessarily rushed, but really emotional. What did you notice in this presser, specifically from Alex Morgan herself?
Just the Not just the open vulnerability that I think she has kind of showed us throughout her career, but there was a layer of calmness and peace within some of these answers I thought was really, really important to note. I feel like just yesterday I was in a final press conference for Megan Rapinoe as she was doing her final farewell press conferences, but this one also felt different just because of the timing, right? And I love that she talked about that as well. This retirement announcement kind of comes along with the announcement of a second pregnancy for her and her family. And it was something that was very obviously taken into consideration in kind of tackling this type of decision. And she talked about that in the press conference as well. Maybe this is a season she does finish out and ride out despite the difficulties that she's had to navigate in 2024. But things like a growing family will always shift perspective, and I love that she was so open about that in this one. And I also love that it was a press conference that was taking place with her NWSL club, that this wasn't one that was done in a US Soccer Federation office. It was a club in her home state that she loved so much, she was trying to get back to throughout the duration of her career. And that also felt very different as well too.
Absolutely. I mean, her being there at the stadium, one of the things that she talked about is that showing up for this presser today at Snapdragon, she thought it was just going to be herself there for this presser. And when she got there, she realized her entire team was there with her to be there and to kind of close out this presser. The final person to ask question, which it's media availability that are in person, joining on Zoom. You got to ask a question on Zoom, but the final question that goes to Alex Morgan is from her teammate, U.S. Women's National Team and San Diego defender Naomi Girma, who asks her, what's your favorite memory of playing soccer? And she brings up a lot of different conversations about being a mom on the team and doing that alongside five other women or four other women. She was one of five to do that, and how special that was to be a mom with so many others on the team at that point, including Casey Kruger, Julie Johnson, Julie Ertz, Crystal Dunn, Adie Franch, and then herself. But then some of the best memories of course, winning the World Cup, winning Olympic gold in London, but the time with the team and all of those memories. It was really cool. What else did you take from this presser that you learned from Alex?
Yeah, shout out to Naomi Girma getting the last question. And I think my now new proudest moment in media is having the second to last question, getting to ask a question to Alex Morgan and then get Naomi Girma to kind of close things out. I love that. But I just love the open honesty and transparency. And I think a really important thing to know when we're talking to these players and these very transformative moments of their careers, we get to sort of try to be reflective alongside and with them. I asked about her time in her playing career in terms of like the media coverage of things, because Alex Morgan is part of a generation of players, in my opinion, who absolutely transformed the game in a multitude of ways. And I also expand that to the media coverage of these players, of this sport, of these professional leagues as well. And it looks much different from perhaps when they first started. So I appreciate her chatting about that as well when I asked her that question, and how she wants to continue to see the growth of media coverage of the sport, because it looked a certain way at one point in her career. It grew throughout the 15 years or so she was playing, and it'll probably grow again, and look different or feel different, or maybe be even bigger 15 years even down the line. So I love that she was open to, you know, answering those questions where she knew she might get a little bit emotional. But as far as things that I've learned, it's that you can't just kind of be complacent, right? I think some of the layers of her answers to some of these questions is that there's a lot to be proud of in her career. And of course, it should be celebrated. But none of the things that we are celebrating and she is celebrating and that we're all celebrating together came by way of just sort of sitting around and waiting for it all to happen. Like, no, it took work, it took effort, it took a lot of lows to get to some of those highs.
Yeah, the legacy that I mean, we've talked about on Attacking Third yesterday on the show in studio with you and with Darian and Christine. She's done so much. When you take a look at like the snapshot of her resume as an actual player with the U.S., she has 224 caps, 123 goals, 53 assists, two-time FIFA Women's World Cup champion, U.S. Women's National Team all-time best 11. She's a four-time CONCACAF Player of the Year, two-time U.S. Soccer Player of the Year, two-time medalist at the Olympics, gold in London in 2012. She's won Golden Boot. She's won WPS for clubs. She's won NWSL Shield, NWSL Championship. She's done or Challenge Cup in just 24. She did that this year. I mean, she's done so much on the field. And in this presser, someone asked her, one of the very first questions was, hey, what do you think your legacy is? What is it? And she didn't talk about any of that. She didn't talk about ever putting the ball in the back of the net. She talked about pushing the game forward, helping gain respect for women's football, having increased value and investment in the women's game, helping players and herself be respected, have better resources, be protected, player safety be at the forefront, not just a desire to play soccer, but to be protected and to have this be a job and to have to fight. She doesn't want every other player coming after her to have to fight as much as she did. And I thought that was really cool that that's what she thought her legacy is. And it is. I mean, I agree. I echo that sentiment. There was a lot. I mean, there are a lot of so many great moments from Alex Morgan. And if you're with us live on YouTube, if you're listening to this as a podcast, let us know your favorite Alex Morgan memories, because we want to know them. We want to talk about them. As Rita says, the list is never ending, Sandra.
I was so caught up. I think we all were so caught up in the everything that was happening yesterday, and the fact that we know that her final game is coming on Sunday. This is the story, right? This is going to be the story that people keep talking about until that final game actually happens. And I was so caught up in the moments too that I had to like create a list of my own. So I tried to have some fun with it, Lisa, and I actually ranked them. And I did, instead of a top 5 or top 10, I did a top 13 in honor of
Oh,
Alex Morgan.
Sandra,
So make sure, shout out to my work. Go check it out on cbssports.com. And yeah, maybe some people will agree or maybe want to rank a certain moment higher than the other. Like, let me know. Let me know if you think some of those moments should be ranked higher or lower or whatever
oh
you
my
want to
gosh, the
let me know.
top 13. That's absolutely adorable for AM 13.
Yep.
Okay, go read Sandra's article, cbssports.com, but can you give us one on the list?
Oh my goodness. I have ones that are from when she was in the U20 World Cup in 2008. Of course, I reference a couple of those really big moments on the international stages. You see, go and see where I put the tea sipping celebration. It's my favorite. Maybe I'm letting people know a little too much already, but I've also included the off the field stuff too. Just how she was an incredible and supportive teammate, how she transformed um, this league really in NWSL and the fight for equal pay as well. Those were also equally important moments for me to rank as well.
Absolutely. I think mine is the tea sipping. I have to.
It's so good.
2019 in the World Cup, she scores against England, helps take her team to the final, and the celebration of the tea sipping. And she did say, hey, it has nothing to do with the English tea and how the culture drinks tea there. It's more about like spill the tea, the drama.
Yeah.
She gave a shout out to Game of Thrones actress Sophie Turner in that one. But there's a lot. There's a lot to unfold and a lot to unpack with Alex Morgan. She was also asked about the future. What's next for her? She said, "Hey, I don't have a coaching license. That's not in my future, but
I love that you squashed that.
she was like, yeah, I won't be coaching, but
Yeah.
thank you for that." And then she said that she's really found her calling in investing in women's sports. Her company Together. She also has the Alex Morgan Foundation. She just really contributes and invests in every aspect of her life. And she's also going to be a mom of two. And that is
Yeah.
one of the biggest jobs that you could ever be out there.
I
It's
love that you shouted out like one of your favorite moments of not just in general, but like also the one that she referenced of how there at one point there were just like so many moms on the
yeah.
team. It like shook my memory jar because I remember being at that game. I believe it was the St. Louis game and those friendlies. And I remember taking a photo. I'm trying to get it to our producer Mark to see if he could toss it up. But um it is a photo of a room that just says USA nannies, and they needed to have that because such a reflection of some of the things that have changed in her time as a player. Like she referenced the fact that when she was on the team, Christy Rampone was a player with 2 kids, and how now that she's a mom and there's different resources, things have completely changed, and she has a different type of respect for navigating that type of motherhood back then. So great stuff. I just sent it, so if folks want to see it, you could definitely check it out on my Twitter. Maybe Mark will get it up. But it's just so cute. It's just like I remember seeing that, Lisa, and I was like, oh, we're so back. Like we're so back
We're
here
so
when
back.
it comes to the United States women's national team. So yeah, shout out to her, to Julie Ertz, Casey Kruger, Edie French, Crystal Dunn. She rattled them all off. Just incredible how at one moment there were just so many moms part of the team at one point that they needed to just have their own room for all the kids.
Yeah, exactly. There's just too much. I mean, even in this presser, there was so much to unpack and unfold, and media could have probably talked to her for hours. She gave us a lot of her time, not only today, but over the last decade plus, 13, 14 years of her professional career. I watched her play growing up. I mean, she was like my idol, my
Yeah.
superstar. It was really cool to always watch her. And we get one more shot at it, Sandra. One more game to watch the legend Alex Morgan, baby horse, absolutely rip up back lines, get in behind, score goals, be a threat, be a nuisance in the box. And it is on Sunday. In just 2 days' time, Alex Morgan will play her final match ever against the North Carolina Courage Sunday at 8 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. If you are in the area, go, go, go. You don't want to miss this chance to watch her play one final time. And if you can't make it to San Diego, you can watch the match on Paramount Plus, 8 p.m. on Sunday. You'll be watching it, Sandra, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it. USA, there it is. Yeah, there's a photo I took in St. Louis. We're so
Shocker.
back. And they were. And they
Yeah.
were. Great,
Yeah,
great
that's pretty
stuff.
cool. That's pretty cool.
I love emotionally processing all this stuff with you, Lisa. I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else.
Yeah, we talked about it right before we jumped on that she was one of our early interviews on Attacking Third,
My
Alex
goodness.
Morgan, back in the day. We had her on a year or 2 years ago about
Look, we were trying to launch something that hadn't really been launched in this space before. You know, we wanted to be a women's soccer only show that was in your eyes and your ears multiple days a week, not just once a week or once a month. And it takes people to believe in that, right? So shout out to her for giving us her time so early on in our early days of this launch.
absolutely, and giving us her time constantly, really, over
Yep.
the last decade. Thank you, Alex Morgan, for everything. And thanks, everyone, for joining us live on YouTube for this A3 one shot. It's where it's just 15 minutes of us chatting about something that has happened live or we haven't gotten a chance to talk about. And who better to talk about than Alex Morgan and her final game with the San Diego Wave against North Carolina, Sunday, 8 p.m. Monday, we will be back in studio and we'll recap everything that happens in the NWSL and specifically with Alex Morgan. She's on limited minutes this weekend, but you are not going to want to miss it. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Make sure you follow Attacking Third wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and review. We're also available youtube.com/Attacking Third. And as always, you can watch us on CBS Sports Golazo Network for all your women's football coverage. For Mark, Sandra, and Lisa, this was Attacking Third One Shot.